Please listen carefully. What I'm about to share matters deeply. Saying this could cost me my reputation, my platform, and the trust I've worked hard to build. But staying silent would be worse. I'm speaking because I see you heading towards something that looks like a gift, but may actually harm you. And I can't ignore that. You're facing a decision that feels right on the surface. It looks promising, logical, even perfect. But beneath that, something doesn't sit well. You've felt it already. A quiet inner voice telling you that something is off, even though you can't fully explain why. You didn't come across this message by accident. Something inside you led you here. Deep down, beyond all the reasons and explanations you've been giving yourself, you already sense the truth. You may have tried to push that feeling away. You may have told yourself it's just fear, insecurity, or past experiences making you doubt. But it's not. That feeling is awareness. It's your inner wisdom trying to protect you from a choice that could have long-lasting consequences. It's a signal asking you to slow down, to pause, and to look more closely before moving forward. I'm here to support that inner voice, to remind you that it's okay to trust yourself, to reassure you that what you're sensing is valid. This isn't a small or simple choice. It's not something you can easily undo if it goes wrong. This decision has the power to change the direction of your life. It could move you closer to who you're meant to become, or pull you away for months or even years. You've grown a lot recently. You've healed. You've worked hard on yourself. The person you're becoming matters. One decision made at the wrong moment could slow or stop that progress. What I'm about to say may challenge how you've been thinking. It may go against advice you've received from others. It may not align with what seems practical or sensible right now. But truth isn't always comfortable, and growth often requires letting go of something we hoped would work out. Here's what I see. There's something in front of you, a choice, an opportunity, a person, or a situation that appears to be exactly what you've been waiting for. Everything about it seems right. Your mind says yes. Other people support it. All the signs seem to point in that direction. That's what makes it risky. The most damaging choices in life are rarely the obvious ones. They don't look bad at first. They look reasonable, attractive, even smart. Those are the hardest to recognize. The real danger lies in choices that look perfect on the outside but don't match who you're becoming on the inside. They meet every external requirement, but they don't align with your values, your growth, or your deeper truth. Just because a door is open doesn't mean it's meant for you. Take a moment. Listen inward. The clarity you're looking for is already there. Let me explain this more clearly, because some of you may think this doesn't apply to you. You might believe you're not facing any big decisions right now, but you are. You just may not see it as a decision yet. In fact, you may have already decided in your mind. You're just waiting for the right time to act. For many of you, this is about a relationship. Someone new has come into your life, or someone from the past has returned. On the surface, they seem to be everything you've wanted. They're attractive. They're available. They show interest. They make an effort. They say the right things. They show up consistently. They make you feel noticed, wanted, and valued, maybe in ways you haven't felt in a long time. Naturally, part of you wants to say yes. You want to believe this is finally the relationship you've been waiting for. You want to give it a chance. You want to trust that this time will be different. But underneath that excitement, something feels off. You can't fully explain it. You don't have clear proof, but your gut doesn't feel as calm as your heart feels excited. There's a quiet inner voice questioning what your logical mind is trying to accept. Maybe it's how they talk about their past relationships. Maybe things are moving too fast. Maybe something they said didn't sit right with you. Maybe the way they reacted when you set a boundary made you uncomfortable. Maybe you're noticing a pattern that feels familiar and not in a good way. Or maybe it's just a feeling you recognize from before. one you're trying to ignore. You might be telling yourself that you're overthinking, that you're too cautious because of past hurt, that you're being unfair, too critical, or afraid of something good. You may be convincing yourself that this person is different, that you've grown, that you're healed enough now to recognize healthy love. And maybe that's true, but maybe it isn't. If that quiet warning inside you is actually your intuition trying to protect you, ignoring it could cost you far more than you realize right now. Here's what often happens when we ignore what we feel deep down because something looks right. You move forward. You get involved. You invest emotionally. You open up. You let your guard down. You share your story. You bring them into your life. You imagine a future together. At first, everything seems fine, maybe even great. The early concerns get explained away. The doubts are pushed aside. The red flags are dismissed because the connection feels exciting and hopeful. But over time, the cracks appear. The patterns you sensed early on become clear. The uneasy feeling turns into real behavior you can't ignore. That quiet, inner voice grows louder. What you didn't want to believe becomes obvious. By then, it's much harder to leave. You're emotionally attached. You've invested time, energy, and hope. You've made plans. You've told others. Walking away feels overwhelming, even though staying is slowly hurting you. So you stay longer than you should. You accept more than you should. You compromise your needs. You cross boundaries you promised yourself you'd never cross again. You make yourself smaller to avoid conflict. You stay quiet to keep the peace. You lose parts of yourself trying to make it work. All of this happens because you didn't trust what you felt at the beginning. Because what looked good was allowed to override what felt wrong. Because fear of being alone, tiredness from waiting, or longing for connection became stronger than your inner truth. And for some of you, this isn't about a relationship at all. For some of you, this situation isn't about a relationship. It's about an opportunity. It could be a new job, a business idea, a partnership, a collaboration, or an investment. On paper, it looks amazing. It promises the things you've been working toward. More money, career growth, recognition, success, and the chance to finally do what you've always wanted to do. Everyone around you is encouraging you to take it. They're telling you not to miss out, not to hesitate, to say yes before the opportunity disappears. The timing seems right. The conditions look fair. The potential feels huge. The people involved appear trustworthy. From a logical point of view, it all makes sense. You may even feel like this is what you've been preparing for. The door you've been hoping would open finally has. But still, something doesn't feel right. Maybe the opportunity requires you to compromise on a value that matters to you. Maybe it asks you to cross a boundary you're uncomfortable with. Maybe there's a detail in the agreement, contract, or expectations that doesn't match who you've become. You might be telling yourself, it's not a big issue, that you can handle it, that once you succeed, you'll fix things later, that everyone makes compromises, that this is just how the world works. But compromises rarely stay small. When you cross a line once, for the sake of success, it becomes easier to cross it again. When you ignore your own needs for achievement, you teach yourself to keep doing it. When you choose approval or money over inner honesty, you create a pattern that can follow you for years. What looks like a shortcut to success may actually be pulling you away from the life you're meant to build. What seems like fast progress may slow you down in the long run. This moment isn't just an opportunity, it's a test. A test of whether you can tell the difference between what is available and what is right for you. For others, this decision is about moving. It might be a new city, a new country, a job relocation, a chance to be closer to family, or the dream of living somewhere you've always wanted to go. Everything appears to be lining up. The job is there. Housing is available. The timing works. Obstacles are disappearing. Every sign seems to say yes. You may be taking this as confirmation that it's meant to be. But have you checked in with yourself? Have you taken time to sit quietly and ask whether this move truly feels right, or if it just looks right? Are you moving towards something meaningful, or away from something uncomfortable? Is this the next step in your growth, or a distraction from what you're meant to work on where you are now? Not every open door is the right door. Not every easy path is the correct one. And not every opportunity is meant to be taken immediately. Sometimes doors open to see if you'll choose what looks good instead of what feels true. Sometimes things become easy to test whether you'll move too quickly without listening inward. External signs alone aren't enough. If you make a big change based only on logic or outside approval, without inner peace, you may end up in a place that seems right on the outside but feels wrong on the inside. And that feeling is important to listen to.